In the previous video we saw how it's possible to add lakes, rivers and other hydrological features to the maps in MapMate. In a similar way you can use the MapMate features to add contour lines to your background maps. To investigate this we're going to take Viscounty 97, West Inverness Shire as an example, and here is a standard base map for that Viscounty. As we discussed with the hydrological features, it would be possible to add the contours directly to this base map, but I find that becomes more difficult to manage and it's much easier to have the contours in a layer in their own right. So we'll get that set up first. And to do that it's back to the File menu, New Map, New Blank Map. Click through on the first two pages here, so we select UK National Grids. Now choose the Viscounty, give it an appropriate name and don't add the border to the map. And we can now OK this, and as we've seen before we end up with a blank space but one that is actually a map. We can now go to Edit, Insert, More Map Features, and what we need to look at here are all the elements that are called land between a certain range of measurements. The simplest thing to do here is to just tick all the boxes that are showing the contours. You can either do this one at a time with the mouse, or if you wish to use the keyboard, the arrow keys and the space bar will do the same job and allow you to do it slightly quicker. Depending on the county that you work in, of course, you may not need all these contour ranges. Quite a lot of vice counties don't have land over 1,000 metres, for instance, so it's up to you whether you want to tick all of them. But the simplest thing to do is just to tick the whole lot if you're not sure which ones you're going to need. Then click on Insert, click OK. It takes a little bit of time to process all this. The contour layers are quite complex, as you might imagine, but they have now been mapped and we can cancel the additional map features box. And what we get is a rather colourful representation of the contours, which for VC97 of course do cover quite a wide range. Having created this separate contour map, we can use it in the same way as we did with the hydrology. Namely, we can go back to our standard VC97 base map and open that. We can then go to Edit, Insert, Insert Another Map and find the contour map that we've just created and insert. As usual, the contours get drawn on top of all the grid lines and numbers, so we go into our feature list, click on the type to sort it into order. Then find the map that we've just added, which is currently on the top order, level 10, right click over that and send to back. Since this is a coastal Viscounty, you may also wish to add the sea background fill that we've used before, which is again from Edit, Insert, More Map Features, Sea Background Fill. Cancel that box, back into the feature list, find the C element and send that one to the back. Now that has produced a fairly complicated looking map for this particular county. The Viscounty boundary can just about be seen and the grid lines can just about be seen. But you may feel that that actually just makes the map look more complicated than it needs to. And if you do want to make use of the contours, for some people find that it's better not to have the county boundaries and grid lines and simply to plot species dots over the contour map on its own. If you wish to do that, there is a slightly simpler way of doing it, I suppose, which is to go to File, New Map, New Blank Map, exactly as we did to create the contours in the first place. But this time we're going to tick the box that says Add a Border to the map and OK that. We now have a blank map with a border into which we can insert our map features. So once again ticking all the contour layers plus the sea background, insert, OK, cancel to come out of the box, and as usual we need to move the sea background to the back. We now have the same contour map but without the distractions of all the grid lines and county boundaries, and if we were to plot species dots over the top of this, it would still be quite a complex looking map, but I think the species dots would be sufficiently clear without the grid lines and so on around them. One other option that some people make use of in creating this sort of map is to only pick out the higher ground contours, just to try and make the map look a bit less complicated. So to do that, it's a similar process. New map, new blank map, as we've seen a couple of times before. So this time we're going to edit, insert, more map features, but we're only going to deal with the high ground in the contours, and obviously it's up to you as to where you want the cutoff to be, but for this example let's do everything from 500 meters and above, and just insert that set of contours. And as you can see, that's a slightly simpler map, and we can use that to insert into one of our standard base maps. So I'm just going to switch off the complete set of contours. First of all, finding where the map is in this list and simply unticking it. So we're keeping the contours in the base map, but we're just simply turning them off so they're not visible. And I'm also going to turn off the C layer for this one. And now we can go to edit, insert another map, adding just the high ground this time, and then sending that to the back. And you may find that that gives you a map that works better for your purposes. Obviously there's still quite a lot of things that you could play around with here in terms of shading the different counties or putting in sea backgrounds, but I hope that gives you an idea of how the contour layers in MapMate can be used to generate a variety of map backgrounds.